Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the channel. Like you guys know, my name is Sal Vetri. Today we're going to be covering this big, massive 11-game slate on Wednesday in the NBA. So there's 11-3, 11-3 game slates. They're coming to an end. I'm happy they are. 3-game slates suck. 11 game slates are fun, but a lot to kind of cover for a content creator. So if this is your first time here, like I said, my name is Sal Vetri. I cover daily fantasy sports. It's sort of a passion of mine, trying to turn it into a career. And we've had great growth on this YouTube channel. I covered the NFL. I'm now covering the NBA, which I have quickly come to love the NBA more than the NFL, actually. I hope you will too. And then we'll be the MLB. We're going to be learning more about that as well. So if this is your first time here, hit me with that thumbs up, especially if you're a returning subscriber. You know how much I appreciate you giving you guys this value, you giving me your attention. It's a win-win situation. So hit that thumbs up. Today we're going to run a contest on the YouTube channel only. So for the people in the Twitch stream right now, head over to YouTube if you want once this is up. And pretty much we're just going to say who will be the highest point per dollar center tonight. So point per dollar, so it matters how much they cost, right? It's not just who's going to score the most. Who's the highest point per dollar center? $5 PayPal down below. We've had some people winning on these, and it's actually been kind of fun. It's increasing the comments, which helps me. Somebody's going to win $5, so it helps you. So thank you guys so much. Quick shout outs and or housekeepings, I guess I should say. The projections, like we've mentioned, they're up, and now they're good. So people were getting double charged at the beginning of the month. So they were getting charged when they would pay, and then at the beginning of the month. I reset everything, so now it's just at the beginning of the month. So if you pay for projections today, you won't get charged until March 1st. If you pay for projections on March 2nd, you won't get charged until April 1st. So pretty cool, actually. So definitely get in there, check them out. We now have both FanDuel, as you can see up here, FanDuel and Draftkings in here. You can also get both. I have a coaching call that some people have actually asked me about. So if you guys want a 1-hour DFS coaching call, go over your lineups, things like that. That's all over on Patreon. There's a link down below. Check it out. Basically, what I want to do with this is any proceeds I get from this is throw right on my student debt, because that's the only thing holding me back from doing what I'm doing right now as sort of a career, believe it or not. So check that out, and then hop in the Discord. Not only do we have, you can see I posted the Twitch link, not only do we have the premium channels for people who are Twitch subs and Patreons, but we have all free channels. And the NBA channel is just, as you can tell or think, based on the NBA season being active and pretty hot right now, everybody's talking all night. I'm in there all night. It's the best place to kind of chat with me and get any questions answered from me. And now, right before we jump in, Draft Dashboard. I've talked about it before. They're sponsoring, one of the sponsors of today's video. It's good for research. I mean, you get your usage rates. I use this as well. They have ownership early in the day, and they update it throughout. Lots of things here. They do their own projections. They also have lineup optimizer if you want to save some players to a watch list, like you can do right here. They'll go into your watch list. And then from there, you can optimize them through a lineup optimizer. It's just nice to kind of have your players that you're interested in one spot. One of the sites that I use for sure. So you can see it's just making random optimizers here based on just all the players in the pool. Check out Draft Dashboard down below. There's a link, 30 days for $1, right? So if you use that promotion, we got you guys a promotion code. You can use that 30 days for $1. In the Discord, it's !dashboard. I use it. It's just one of the tools that I like to look at, kind of cross-reference my projections with, along with some other sites. So without further ado, the housekeeping is out of the way, gang. Let's go. So, injuries, 11-game slate. For an 11-game slate, right now, the injury news is not that great. And ignore just the opponents not being in here. I was changing up some of the formulas, so some things won't pop up. And that's fine, obviously. Injuries. Prince is going to be back. This is going to hit Bazemore's minutes a little bit. I mean, I won't expect him to be playing 30 minutes or more. Get him back around the mid-20s minutes. It's going to affect Bazemore. It's also going to affect Horter a little bit. Jeff Teague's questionable. So this is some of the biggest news on the day. He was ruled out last game, and we saw Tyus Jones at below 4K, 3,500, I believe. He went for over 10x. Tyus Jones played great in that game. It's going to affect Jones. It's going to affect Rose, who should still be seeing his minutes limited since the new coach is there. They've been very, very cautious with Derrick Rose. And it's going to affect Karl Anthony Towns. His assist rate, his assist percentage goes through the roof or sees a significant bump when Teague's out of the lineup. So that's one to monitor. Chris Dunn, also one to monitor. When Chris Dunn's out of the lineup, the offense is very concentrated. It's already a very concentrated offense in Chicago. It's pretty much Zach LaVine and Lauri Markkanen. But Chris Dunn does add some upside. So when he's out, it's a big boost for a guy like Zach LaVine. We'll see more ball handling duties. It's a big boost, a little bit of a boost for Lauri Markkanen, just because there's more offense and points to go around, and it's usually funneled through those two. Will also affect Wayne Selden Jr. to an extent. Otto Porter Jr. is going to be questionable today as well. This is going to affect, again, Lauri Markkanen probably the most, Wayne Selden Jr. to an extent. There's really not much else right there in Chicago. Robin Lopez maybe a little bit, but I think Lauri's going to be kind of still the main factor for Robin Lopez's success. Marvin Williams is doubtful, so this is a guy who has been in, and now we're going to get something else here. So Miles Bridges, Nicholas Batum, Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, all in play. I'm going to be interested to see who gets to start. Obviously, Batum is still going to be in the starting lineup as he has been, sees more minutes and just more upside, more rebounding opportunities for him, get his peripherals, which he highly relies on. So watch that. Darius Miller is now probable. It's going to affect Kendrick Williams a little bit, but Miller is already behind him. Williams is one of the guys with the most stable minutes on this team, around 30. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. Justice Winslow is now back, and he's probable. It's going to affect Dion Waiters maybe a little bit. Dwayne Wade, just the rotations there. Winslow should go back to the point guard spot. James Johnson, Roddy Magruder, and Derrick Jones Jr. All the guys who were out last time that made Kelly Olynyk just a phenomenal play. Marvin moved. Okay, so we have Marvin probable now. So this was as of 7 minutes ago. So dust everything. Thank you. I just looked at the Twitch chat, which a plug for Twitch. If you're not here, I talk mainly before and after the streams. I go over my lineups from the night before. A lot of people ask me, what was your lineup from the night before? They want to know if I win any money or if I just do this. And we talk about that every single day. We've actually been on quite a decent hot streak the last 10 days since kind of starting my own independent bankroll challenge, turning about 200 into 1100, just playing cash and single entries in about 9 or 10 days now. So I go over all that, answer questions. So definitely hit up Twitch down below. Hit me with the follow at the very least. It helps me out. But all these Miami guys, they're kind of murky. So we have James Johnson and Magruder still questionable. Derrick Jones Jr., it's going to be interesting to see what his minutes are like because now he's probable. I want to get a read on that. But with Derrick Jones Jr. back, Kelly Olynyk becomes a little bit of a worse play, especially if James Johnson's in the rotation and you kind of have to split those minutes everywhere. This team's hard to pick apart just because of all the great players they have. Now with Dragic and Derrick Jones Jr. is coming back, it's going to hurt a little bit. Keep an eye on all of that, see who gets to start here. But a much different situation for Kelly Olynyk due to the depth, due to the matchup in this one. It's not the Phoenix Suns anymore. Evan Turner remains out. It's going to impact just dust. I mean, Leonard, Mo Harkless, Rodney Hood really doesn't affect much. Same thing for Tyreek Evans being questionable. Corey Joseph, Sumner, I mean, not much there that I care about. Sabonis is supposed to be out now for some while, and this is going to affect a decent amount. It's going to solidify Miles Turner's minutes a bit more, maybe get him closer to 30, where we know if he gets closer to 30, he's usually a smash or a good play at his price. Kyle O'Quinn's also going to see more secure minutes, not as a starter, obviously, with Turner back and healthy, but he'll still get his run. Thad Young, a little bit, you can say, on the second team, maybe playing with a guy like O'Quinn. If Thad Young's out there at the same time, you're going to see a bigger bump in usage for Thad Young since Sabonis is not on the floor, especially with the rebounds. Avery Bradley is questionable, and so is CJ Miles in Memphis, and we could also say Ivan Robb is doubtful. So all the Memphis guys, I mean, Bradley and Miles, I have no real interest in them, especially on 11-game slate, and I don't really have any interest in their replacements. I mean, Justin Holiday, we know he'll get the minutes. We know he's buns. Parsons is back. Bruno, we know all these guys stink. Ivan Robb, though, being doubtful is pretty big. Jonas Valanciunas only saw, I think, 23 minutes last time out, and that's obviously not great, but he still smashed at like 40-plus points because he's Jonas Valanciunas, and he's pretty much a monster. So this is going to solidify him a little bit more. This is also going to solidify Joakim Noah, who we've just seen been an absolute stud. What is Joakim Noah's price? $4,800, and Valanciunas, I'm going to imagine, is $7,400 now. Wow. So Valanciunas went up, so he got 25 minutes. And I mean, he deserves to be this expensive. When he's getting the minutes, he's going for 40 points a night. Decent matchup tonight against Robin Lopez, obviously. Joakim Noah is likely going to come off the bench, but I think we could see Joakim Noah and Valanciunas on the court at the same time. It'd be interesting. Neither of them are a power forward, but I mean, their depth at that position is just dreadful. And well, it's going to be interesting to see, right? Noah, obviously, you can see what he's done recency. We don't like to use recency bias too much, but when the guy gets his minutes, which he should tonight, Noah becomes a great play. Center eligible hurts a little bit in terms of the upside that you can do, but if you can get him in your lineup, it seems decent. Giannis is going to be back, and you can see right here I wrote literally the entire team is affected when Giannis is back, and that's so true. Bledsoe, Middleton, Brogdon, all their 1 point per minutes goes down a little bit. George Hill being out doesn't really affect much, solidifies Malcolm Brogdon for some more point guard minutes, and also Isaiah Cannon to an extent. I believe he's back. So yeah, thank you Twitch for shouting me out that Marvin's is back. So I pretty much Marvin was like the main guy who changed his injury status on this, besides Sabonis and Rob. So yeah, based on injury news right now, really where I'm looking is watching Jeff Teague. If he's out, I do like Tyus Jones again. I like him a lot more, especially for value. Rob being doubtful if he actually goes out, which we expect. Jonas Valanciunas becomes still a great play, but he's a little more expensive, $3,000 more than Noah, who will probably come off the bench but see 25-plus minutes, maybe get some run next to him. Miles Turner becomes a little more solid here. Kyle O'Quinn opens up some value, but I mean, nothing in cash. I don't want a guy off the bench who's going to be murky minutes, but Sabonis being out is going to open up some more, probably more for Thad Young as well. Let's move over to target offense, but before we do, quickly want to go over to drafters.com. We've been talking about them. So pretty much this is drafters.com, and you've seen me do the drafts in the background. And today what I want to do is I just want to kind of look through some of their top plays. Drafters is an online, it's a DFS snake auction site or a snake draft site. So instead of just doing salaries and adjusting like you do on Draftkings, you're just picking like a standard league here. And it's pretty cool. We've been talking about it. We've been talking about all the perks. Some people have friend requested me. I did a draft this morning for free just to kind of test out the waters of what the slate looked like. And I want to talk about some things actually with this site and where you can gain edges. One, you could have huge edges because there's not a lot of sharps, like we've said in the previous videos on a site like this, because there's just not that much more money on the table. But we can still win decent amount of money a night, especially when these sites are new. It's the best time to get in. And this is why I want to take advantage of it. So today, I think LeBron's the best play in terms of you just want the guys who are going to score the most points, right? I think it's LeBron. We're about to cover that total. We're about to cover that pace. We're about to cover the spot in general for LeBron. I think it's LeBron. So when you're picking a guy like LeBron, when you go to draft him, you can see he's small forward and power forward eligible. You want to draft him if you're drafting him early at a spot that there's not as much depth or there's not as much depth. So if we look at small forward, you can see small forward pretty much drops off after DeRozan. I mean, Kuzma's in a good spot, but do I really want anyone down here to roster on a spot where you're only going to be picking a point guard, a shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center, and a flex? So very limited options. I don't really want too thin players or too much of a thin player. You look at power forward, and you can see it goes a little bit deeper, right? Like Kuzma's all the way down here. Now Noah, we know, is a power forward on the site. That's a pretty good spot. You keep going. Capella's fine. I mean, you get a lot of centers here. So clearly you want to be drafting, when you pick to draft, a little box will pop up here. Clearly you want to be drafting LeBron at small forward. And that one might seem obvious. But, I mean, if you go to point guard, a lot of point guards are also shooting guard eligible. And we know that the shooting guard position is just dreadful to begin with. You'll see a lot of point guards in there on this site. But it's good to keep in mind when you're playing somebody head-to-head, what positions have they filled? If they've filled all of their positions and all they need now is a power forward and center, well, you know that you don't really have to pick a point guard or a shooting guard because they can't choose there. They could choose it in the flex, but I mean, you know that likely they're not going to be able to choose both, right? They definitely can't. So that's just some strategy. Again, I like LeBron a lot today. If you have the first pick, go for him. If he falls to 3, you're lucky because he's in a very good spot. And a lot of people are going to go Harden over him. I don't see it. I personally have LeBron projected for more than Harden today. If we go down a little bit more, I love the fact that you could put Andre Drummond at the power forward position. You can't do that on other sites, and that's just incredible. I mean, we saw Joakim Noah, you could put at the power forward position as well. I like Andre Drummond there. Outside of that, those are like my two big ones in terms of dual position eligibility. You should always be putting a guy like Harden at the shooting guard position because there's just so many good point guards and not many good shooting guards, and it's just a good spot to put it at. Jonas Valanciunas is going to go under recognized, especially in head-to-head. You could also be playing tournaments with on this site. So just spots to look at. Definitely take advantage of the 50% deposit match. They don't think they're going to be doing that for too long. I mean, they're losing money, but they're a new site, so it's a promotion. So if you go to the link below, you could use that. It's a promo link, and you could just get a 50% deposit on anything you enter. And they do free rolls. There's going to be a free roll coming up very soon. So they did a recent one with a Joel Embiid signed jersey, and you got to enter up to 10 times. For free. You had like a 1 in 100 chance of winning the thing if you entered all 10 times. So check it out for sure. Again, invite me. You can come over here and you could play players. This is where I get friend requests. You can find friends right here. You can just type my name in Sal Vetri. So follow over there. I've just been playing around with it a little bit, trying to increase some bankroll over here. I should be taking it a little bit more seriously, and that's something that I plan on doing. So definitely check out Drafters. They're a cool site. The guys over there are cool. They're helping me. I want to help them. And this is the best time to get in on these new sites when a lot of people don't know how to play it properly, and you can come in with a strategy. That's always best. And learn that strategy, right? It's not going to just be easy. So next up. Target offense. So we have target offense. This is a big one, different than the 3-game slate. I have it filtered by pace here, so you're going to see the fastest pace games are going to come up first. So the fastest pace game that we have on this slate is Golden State and Miami, then Brooklyn and Washington. And this Brooklyn and Washington game to me is very, very interesting. I mean, you can see the pace is up there, 105 possessions. And what pace is, for those of you that are new, is just possessions per game. Obviously, the more possessions, the better for fantasy in terms of just overall scoring, whether it's rebounds, assists, points, triple-double, double-double, upside bonuses on Draftkings. I love this Brooklyn-Washington game, and there's a couple of reasons why. I mean, the obvious ones are right here, right? You have a high pace, the second highest total by only 2 points difference, and then you have just team totals that are ridiculous, 120.75 and 115.75, so it's indicating that this is going to be a close game, a spread within 5. And the thing that's good here is, look, neither one of these teams has dynamite big men. I mean, Bobby Portis, sure. Not dynamite, though. But neither one of these teams can rebound, so they both all the big men are going to get bumps in this game, whether it's Bobby Portis, whether it's Jeff Green at the power forward spot, Thomas Bryant if he comes off the bench. I think they said Portis is going to be starting. Jared Allen on the other side. These guys are priced at very nice price points, and they're in a game where there's going to be a lot more rebounds on the table, right? Not only is there going to be a lot more rebounds, a lot more scoring opportunities, they're just going to be faster pace, more blocks for these guys. So I love it. And then if you want to go to the shooting guard position or the point guard, Beal's in a good spot. I never really get to Beal, though, personally. Thomas Bryant is in a great spot, or not Thomas Bryant, Thomas Satoransky and Thomas Bryant. Thomas Satoransky in a good spot. D'Angelo Russell in just a crush spot. So I like this game. No real big pay-up options outside of Russell if you want to go there, but I just love it for the big men. Neither team can actually rebound. Neither team can defend well down low. I feel like both of these big men in these games are going to be underpriced and probably decently owned, but in cash they make for good plays to kind of fill into your lineup. Especially Portis, who can be power forward eligible, who last time was a dud, but we'll see. And you can see right here, I mean, the power forward position, they both defend pretty badly. And for the center position, Brooklyn's just dreadful, but they both aren't the greatest at that position. You can move down a little bit more. You'll see why I like LeBron so much. The pace is high, and it has the highest total. So you can see similar pace to this game, the exact pace projected, but the highest total. LeBron's in an absolute smash spot. His team holds the highest over-under on the slate, 122. And it's going to be a close game as of right now. It's like a 6-point difference, 5.5-point spread. And you can see right here, small forward position, which is where LeBron plays, and he'll get time at the point guard and whatever else. But they defend it on this slate. They're defending it the third worst. He has the third best matchup, you could say, then on this slate. Outside of that, I mean, you're going to get a little bit of a good matchup for JaVale McGee. The minutes aren't there, though, too much, so I'm not too thrilled about that. As we move down a little bit more, you're going to see some spots. Keep an eye on Boston. I don't know as of right now when you're watching this. Kyrie Irving, back-to-backs, and Al Horford. Guys who are sketchy who can always see rest. We'll go to Utah and the Clippers quick. What I like here is, look, Utah's great against every single position almost. So these Clippers guys who are already shaky outside of maybe Lou Williams, maybe Harrell, guys that I don't really like to play in general. But if you want to look at it from the other side, right here, center position, the worst against the center position the Clippers have been for a while, and it's by far the worst, almost 5 points more per game over the last 30 days in DraftKings. That's what this is showing. Who's the center for Utah? Well, it's Rudy Gobert. This game does not indicate anything of an extreme worry in terms of thinking of a blowout. I think it's a 9.5-point spread. I'm not worried too much about that. Yes, there's always blowout upside, especially against the Clippers, but I'm not too worried about it. 227.5 over under. What is Gobert's price out? We're about to find out on my early interests, but I do have a lot of strong interest and affection for him as of right now. Outside of that, the things I'll just say generally about this information here, you can get this in the Discord. So I'll be dropping this in the Discord, an exact copy that you can work on in Excel. So again, hop into the Discord. It's completely free. We have about, what do we have? 120. We have 131 people in here right now. Just trying to build this community. This is where we talk all the time. That'll be dropped in there throughout the day for you guys to use. If the over-unders change, I will be updating them as well. But a big thing that I want to say is don't just, I mean, it's great to be choosing these games, right? You should probably pick players from all these games, right? 235 is a big over-under as well in Atlanta and Minnesota. That's why I like Tyus Jones if he's out. Look, that's something that we should actually really hit on. This is why I like Tyus Jones so much, and you're about to see why. I'll highlight this Atlanta-Minnesota game here for a second. Atlanta and Minnesota, and this is really big, guys. Atlanta is just a nosebleed against. We saw 50-point Tyler Johnson go off on them, right? Just everybody goes off in Atlanta at the point guard position, at really almost any position that you want. But specifically the point guard position, they've been shoring up a little bit at the small forward position. But point guard position, small, even shooting guard position, who's the point guard here? It's going to be Jeff Teague if he's in, and if he's not in, it's going to be Tyus Jones. That's already the indicator. We don't even have to worry about Derrick Rose coming off the bench and going off because they're limiting his minutes and they're being very cautious with him. And Tyus Jones is playing well, so I'm very secure with Tyus Jones playing around 30 minutes. His price hasn't come up too much, and here's the thing. 51.74 points, he's just in a smash spot. Even if Teague starts, I like Teague too because his price 5,600, somewhere around there. It's great. And actually, we're looking at the wrong spot. This is it right here. So even better. It's the best matchup on the slate, as you can imagine, against Atlanta for the point guards. But on the flip side of that, Atlanta has a good matchup, especially if Jones is starting and Teague is out, who's a little bit of a better defender, for Trae Young. I never usually get up to Trae Young because he's hit or miss, and his price usually makes him hard to get to. But definitely spots to hit on for sure. I think Andrew Wiggins is going to be a good play in this game as well, just based on the fact that, again, it's Atlanta. So keep that all in mind. Tons of huge totals, a lot of them over 220, pretty much. I think like 80% of these games over 220, which is what we look for. A little bit deeper of a breakdown that we did today on this chart, and that's what I kind of want to do. I want to give you guys a better breakdown of the slate based on this chart and then go into my early interest. I think it's more concise, as some people were asking for. And just always keep in mind, target these games. Definitely target them, especially if you want to game stack. Game stacking, not as viable in an 11-game slate. You probably have leaving some things on the table that you shouldn't. But target these games that are higher total, higher pace. But keep in mind these games down here because, look, Memphis, if you're just avoiding these games, you're not going to get any Lauri Markkanen, which you probably should. You're not going to get any Joakim Noah, who's a value play. So always keep in mind that. But you should be primarily trying to look at these games because there's just going to be more points in possession, so it makes sense. Let's move over now to the early interest quick. And these early interests are mainly from my projections, cross-referencing them with Fantasy Labs, with Draft Dashboard, which again, check out down below. And definitely, I mean, anytime that I sponsor somebody, I'll just say this quick, which I've done with Draft Dashboards and Drafters. Like, I actually put my confidence behind them, so I'm not trying to sell you guys crap, right? I do make money off of them, so I'll, as you guys can probably imagine, just bringing them customers. People pay to bring customers, right? It makes sense. That's how a business runs. That's how marketing works. But I'm not going to be selling you guys any crap. So I think Drafters is very fun. I think it's cool. We've had a bunch of people sign up over there, and it's been a ton of fun. Sending me friend requests. We're playing on Drafters now. And if that thing grows, we'll be some of the pioneers of it, which is pretty cool. And then Draft Dashboard, I think, is great for research. It's all in one spot. It's a dashboard, so it's cool. Soon we'll be potentially Fantasy Labs by the end of the week. Hopefully we can have a deal worked out with them. And I use Fantasy Labs on a daily basis. I like them a lot. So those are just some of the things that I use to kind of cross-reference my own projections like we've been talking about. You can see here player projections if you want them over on Patreon. So yeah, this is what I'm looking at today. I mean, in no ranking order here, right? We could filter by value if we wanted to, but no ranking order. Rudy Gobert, we already mentioned, I love him against the Clippers. Best matchup on the slate in terms of the center position is just dreadful for the Clippers, or they defend the center position dreadful, and Rudy Gobert is a very good center. 8,200 is a fine price for a guy who, if the game stays close, which is what I'm going to factor in as of right now that it will stay close, I don't see him not going for 40 to 50 points, probably closer to that 50 point, 45 is a median for Rudy Gobert today. Tyus Jones at $4,500. The price came up $1,000, right? It's still way too cheap if he draws a start against Atlanta. Tyus Jones has very good possibility of going for 40 points today. That's probably close to his ceiling, but a decent shot at going for 30, which at 4,500 is more than fine. LeBron, already mentioned him. I love LeBron today. He's my favorite pay-up option early on. We'll have to see what the slate unfolds. But yeah, I mean, the dual eligibility, you could put LeBron in the small forward spot, which is where you should always put him to get an extra power forward in your lineup. I love it. Just great matchup. The highest total, second highest pace on the day. It's good upside for LeBron here in a game that will be close and competitive. Derek Favors. This is mainly a price thing for Derek Favors. You get the power forward eligibility for him. And again, he's going up against this Clippers team that not only do they defend bigs terrible in general. The center very bad, but also the power forward. Favors at 4,600 provides a good amount of upside for a guy who does have a 40-point ceiling on him and does have a median projections in the mid to high 20s. 4,600, that's fine. Batum I liked a little bit more before Marvin Williams news became probable. Now I don't like it as much. So Batum, kind of not as much an interest. Al Horford, he'll always be on these early interests because he's a man who has been struggling his last two games, rightfully so, but power forward center eligible for a guy who's going to play around 30 minutes. On the second night of a back-to-back, monitor it. I don't have too much love for Al Horford today, but he's definitely interesting because of his price at 6,300 and a decently paced game with a 225 total. Cody Zeller, 5,800. I mean, this guy's going to get 30-plus minutes. He's been getting the run now that he's back and healthy. I do like him today. Provides decent value, you can see there, based on my projections and algorithm, 5.54 value. And if you're wondering where this is all pulling from, the value is pulling from my actual projection sheet, which is right here. I just had the points showing for a second, but that's fine. So that's my actual projection sheet. It's pulling from there. It's not showing you the points or anything because that's obviously for the people who are paying and supporting through Patreon, which you can. Jonas Valanciunas, so 7,400. This man's price shot up quick. He's going to be an 8K player soon because when he gets 30 minutes, he goes for 40 at like pretty much his floor, right? So this guy's pretty nuts. Now Ivan Rob's out of there, who wasn't too much of a factor for Valanciunas, but it always pops up. But yeah, so Jonas is a good play. Joakim Noah is probably a little bit better because you get to save, $2,600 off of him. So yeah, I'd go Joakim Noah if I had to choose between them based on lineup construction, though. I don't really know where I'll be heading yet. Andre Drummond, 9,000. So yeah, his price just doesn't change, and the guy keeps going out there and throwing up 50 bombs. So why not love him? I mean, San Antonio and this game in general, not the greatest of spots. And I have him as a Clipper, but he's Detroit. So yeah. Bobby Portis, he's going to get to draw the start, and he's power forward eligible. I got burned by Bobby Portis last time out, but now he's playing Brooklyn, who's just a nosebleed. Last time out, he was playing the Miles Turner-less Indians in the Indiana Pacers, but he has a better matchup here. Hopefully, he doesn't get in early foul trouble, and Thomas Bryant doesn't go off again, which is always in question. But at 6,300 for a guy you can put a starting center in the power forward spot against Brooklyn. Seems very nice. Jared Allen, 5,200. We talked about this game already. Both the bigs have great matchups against Washington. Jared Allen also has a good matchup, 5,200. Nice price. Jeff Teague, I'll be interested in if Tyus Jones is, or if Jeff Teague is in, then not interested in Tyus Jones and interested in Jeff Teague. And then you can round out the rest by looking at them. John Collins draws some interest. Marvin Bagley's minutes are increasing, and he's probably appropriately priced now, so not as much of a value, but still should get the minutes. Kyle Kuzma I like a lot, actually. Again, you could put this power forward in the small forward spot. Gives you another power forward, another guy closer to the rim for easy points in the lineup. 6,200 in this high-paced game is something that I like actually a lot. On the other side, Alfred Payton is the only guy that I really like from New Orleans. I'm not going to mess around with Kendrick Williams. I'm not going to mess around with Davis or Drew Holiday, who are on minutes limits. Alfred Payton at 5,200 as a point guard only hurts a little bit, but he has a great matchup today against the Lakers. Rubio's too cheap at 6,000. Buddy Hield, always a great cash gameplay at 6,400 with the ceiling. Just the pace in this game concerns me a little bit, but the teams are both efficient, so not too much. And then Miles Bridges at 3,400. He was an interest, and now we can confidently take him off now that Marvin Bagley is not. We'll delete him. So that's it, gang. Quick little video, and I don't know how quick. Actually, it was probably a longer one with 11 games. But there's going to be updates on the projections throughout the day, everybody, so just keep an eye on those. If you want to get in the Discord, hit up the Discord. It's linked down below. It's just Discord. You come in here and we chat. We have all different channels. It's not just NBA, NFL, MLB, NASCAR, golf. I'm trying to learn more golf. I keep saying that, but I want to learn it. Make sure you go over and you head out or check out Drafters. Again, they're awesome guys over there, and they're building something that I believe has a future in front of it, and you guys should be getting in early because, one, there's just so many edges on this site right now, and it's just a little refresher from the salary cap-based sites. So I kind of like utilizing both of them, honestly. And then lastly, if you guys want to support me, want to support my work, you can do that over on Patreon, and you would get my projections, the ones that I actually use. I cross-reference them with other sites, to be just completely honest, because I think you should be doing that, benchmarking. But yeah, you can support me over there. Every single dollar I make, whether it's from coaching calls or whether it's because you want the projections or just to support me, every single dollar that I make over there is going to be put on my student debt, which is going to be a slow but steady battle. Hopefully not as slow. Maybe we can grow this. And then I could do this as a full-time career, like I say right here in the description. So head over there. There's a link down below. If you're somebody who had them and now you don't, the projections, it's because I had to recreate the site. You were all refunded, so don't worry about it. You can just re-sign back up and get in the Discord. So thank you guys so much, YouTube. It's going to be a fun 11-game slate. I hope you guys win something. Let me know if you do. Comment down below how you guys did last night as well. My name's Sal. You already know that. Best of luck. Peace out, gang.